Welcome to Let's Draw Pokemon. Today we're going to be drawing Wartortle. So like Squirtle, Wartortle is based off of a turtle. So of course he has a very rounded body and head to accommodate the shell on his back. And of course, he has rounded legs, similar to Squirtle and Charmander. He has these front-facing toes. His arms are almost reminiscent of pylons. They have rounded ends. They're kind of cone-shaped in structure. In this iteration, he has started to grow. He evolved to have claws, similar to Charmeleon's. And of course, he has his little shell on the back. So we have a rough idea of how the head's looking. Let's start adding in more detail. Another thing that Wartortle evolved have were these very interesting looking, I guess, wing ears. So if you break down the shapes on the wing ears, it's just looking like they're composed of a circle, some ovals. It really is dependent on the angle you're viewing it at. But you can construct it like that. And then to just get rid of your construction lines, there you go, we have a nice, fresh, crisp, clean wing ear. Then on the other side, you just compose it of little oval shapes, and it works out just fine. Now we have the new brand spanking new ears out of the way. We go and focus on the face. So Wartortle is looking downward. Just a smile, all smiles. He's all ready and raring to go in battle. Like Charmeleon, he has evolved to have like little fangs protruding. And his little nostrils. And for whatever reason, he now is frowning a bit. He means business. So we're just adding in the irises. He also has these little rosy cheeks going on. One eye was down a little too low. Definitely at this point in the drawing, you want to make sure that your placement for everything is correct. Everything looks like it's in the right spot. We're working on form, starting with our big shapes like usual. Figuring out their placement and where they go. So then we have a basic overall shape of that. We're going to be looking at Wartortle's new tail, which is kind of, it has that same kind of feathery vibe as the ears. So of course he has some little, you draw circles where you have the tail curling. And so that's a good base shape for it. Of course, we're adding in our nice little swirls. Remove some of the sketchier lines, put emphasis on what we're going to be inking, and some little extra lines here and there. Now we're just going to add in some claws to our Wartortle. Claws don't seem as aggressive as, say, Charmeleon's, but that's fine. He doesn't really, like, thinking to the games, Wartortle doesn't really do things like scratch or slash. He's a little more about pummeling you into oblivion with his barrage of water tactics. So of course having like drawn out the shell, we have some little details we have to put on it. We have that little line down here for the back of the shell, and so Wartortle's shell has changed throughout his evolution. We still have that center stripe down the middle and then a horizontal one through his midsection, but we no longer have the little diamond shapes on the sides. That's not a thing anymore. Instead, we have a diamond at the top, which seems like it might be where he's protruding his head from because it's covered. It's just black. And then there's also the diamond at the bottom, a little triangular shape. I keep calling them diamonds. It makes me think of diamond shapes. There we have it, our finished sketch of Wartortle. I'm just going to erase a little bit around here because that's a little sloppy. Again, it's good to keep your sketch nice and clean looking, so you have a fairly good idea of where you're going to be inking. So now we're all prepped and ready to go with the inks. I'm just going to make a quick little tweak to the ear. I kind of want it so it's about on par with that of the other ear. See if that's a little... Yeah, I like that placement a little better. So now we're all ready to ink this. So we're just going to bring the sketch down, fade it out a little bit, and get started on inking. So Wartortle's an interesting character. He actually, his eyes aren't actually fully fleshed out. You'll have, like, with the ink about there, and then draw in the pupil and then leave a space. For the sake of what we're doing, we're probably gonna fill in the eye completely and then erase out the inks later. That way it goes, whenever you're coloring stuff up, it'll be a bit quicker if all of your line work's actually enclosed. Because you can just use the fill bucket to fill everything in, and it actually makes doing that base color very fast. I have a pre-picked palette already prepped with the colors I need. And so we're just going to start filling them in. Dark gray to fill that in, and then I'll just add some shading to it. So I have Wartortle base coat done, and now we're going to do the shading. Okay. So, like Squirtle, we're gonna start by shading in the blue. And of course, we're just gonna go and tone this stuff down. A little bit of shadow there from the arm. And have it so our legs aren't completely encased in shadow, but have nice little highlights going on. And you want to remember to shade according to the forms. There are things like the toes that need little highlights on them. It's all these little things that just add this whole new level of detail to the piece. And then of course we're going to be going on to the arms. The head is encasing part of this in shadow. It's a little more texture to it. The light isn't getting to this side of the arm, so it's getting darkened. Just lighten that down a little. The light isn't reaching underneath his mouth so much, so that's encased in darkness. Shade the top of the head a little bit too, but we're going to be toning those shadows down in a minute. Again, it's just adding a little bit of texture, a little bit of extra shadow. There we go. And now we're going to be moving on to, I think we'll move on to like maybe the wing-like things. So we're just going to pull some of the shadow for that. They don't get overly darkened. The main thing that'll happen with them is that they're gonna end up with some nice highlights from the highlight layer. And that'll be what really makes this pop out. As opposed to the shadows. I noticed that I missed a line. And the other thing we're going to do is remove this. Whenever we go and add the highlights to it, it's just going to fix itself there. And there. Okay, time to add in some more shadows. So we're going to do the inner shell. And of course, go and tone this down a little bit. Makes for looks a little smoother if it's not all hard lines. Oh, some shadows for the eyes. First things first, we're just going to go and do it too. Just a little bit of shell. Again, the highlights are coming off the other side because that's encased in shadow. Okay, now to add in the highlights. One thing you do have to be careful of is whenever two colors are really close. So like this nice seafoam green, it's really close in color to the gray. So whenever I was shading, it came over top. Okay, so you just want to be careful with that because then you'll start shading areas you didn't want to. It's fairly easy fix. So we're just gonna go and highlight these. Okay. Now we're gonna add in the final set of highlights. And like we did before, we're just going to be using like an overlay layer. It essentially just creates like a lighter color of the colors you're using. Or darker, depends on what you're shading with. I'm using a white on an overlay layer. Of course, we're adding in some nice highlights on these wing ears. I really like the design that they came up with for Wartortle. It's very clever. Looks really cool. The tail, the ears. I don't know, they remind me of like sea foam and stuff like that, which was probably intentional because he's a water guy. But it's a very strong design, I feel. A lot of fun to draw. A lot of little intricacies to it that you wouldn't really think about too much. And again, if you want to add in like a little extra detail and texture to the shell, you could always add in those little highlight lines. We have his little cheeks. I think that's about it for Wartortle. So as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope this has helped you out, and it'll help you not just with your Pokemon drawings and creating your awesome little Wartortles, but with your overall drawing. Just remember, start with the big shapes, then work into your details, and always strive to try and find that 3D form and draw it out in your pictures. So thanks for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.